श्रीमते भक्ति नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे श्री श्री राम संकीर्तन की जाए। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जाए। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। उपस्थित गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी। So we have completed our discussion last time till 20th verse. Now we'll continue from the 21st verse. Okay, so I'll share the screen. So please recite after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 16, which is entitled as the Divine and the Demoniac Nature, Daiva Asuri Sampati Vibhaga Yoga, and text number 21. So please repeat. Trividham Narkesyadam
त्रिविधं नरकस्येदं
Dwaram Nashanam Atmana
द्वारं नाशन् आत्मना।
Kama Krodhastata Lobhas
कामक्रोधस्तथा लोभस्
Tasmade Tatrayam Tajet.
तस्मादेतत्त्रयं त्यजेत्।
Okay, thank you, Arun Prabhu. You can be muted. Um, just recite once.
त्रिविधं नरकस्येदं द्वारं नाशन् आत्मना। कामक्रोधस्तथा लोभस्
Tasmad.
तस्मादेतत्त्रयं त्यजेत्।
Yes, thank you, thank you. So yes, word to word meaning, the translation and the purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. So translation. There are three gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Purport. The beginning of demoniac life is described herein. One tries to satisfy his lust, and when he cannot, anger and greed arise. A sane man who does not want to glide down to the species of demoniac life must try to give up these three enemies, which can kill the self to such an extent that there is no possibility of liberation from this material entanglement. Let us recite the prayers. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदत्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। दुःखं करोतु आचार्य मंगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं श्री गुरु दीनतारिणं पद्म श्री चैतन्य। Okay, so I'll just go back to the verse number 21. So welcome back to the study and discussion of the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So far, we have studied 16th chapter till verse number 20th. So we saw that in this particular chapter, the divine and the demoniac nature, there are basically 3 sections we have been studying. The first section is about the first 3 verses, where the Lord Sri Krishna is describing the divine qualities, 26 divine qualities. We saw them, each of them, and then he's assuring also to Arjuna that he's also born in the divine qualities. He need not worry about it, have a doubt, because that now he's going to fight a bloody war. And then the second section we saw from 16.4 onwards till the last verse we studied 16.20. These 16, 17 verses, Lord Sri Krishna is describing the demoniac qualities, the demoniac natures, the demoniac mentalities, the demoniac thought process, the demoniac activities, which are actually not beneficial either to themselves nor to the whole world. So, and then the consequences of such activities, such demoniac activities, all that we studied last time. And now the last section which we are going to study is about how to avoid being demoniac. Lord Sri Krishna is going to advise us how to avoid being demoniac. And the first verse, 21st verse, he will tell us about how to avoid these 3 doors to the hell, Kama, Krodhas, Tatha, Lobhas. And then he will also advise us actually about following the scriptures, sticking to the scriptures, conducting oneself in terms of the scriptural rules and regulations. Are you able to hear me loud and clear, or is there any disturbance from my side? Otherwise, I'll close the window. You can just thumbs up or thumbs down. You can do something.
Clear, Prabhuji, clear.
Yeah, okay, fine, good, thank you.
As you are asking, so I want to tell one thing. Like when you are singing, that time every time the singing, your voice is very low or not audible. Maybe if it is possible, you can adjust. Otherwise, if not adjustable, it's okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you for that feedback. I'll try to take care next time on this. So, yeah. So, anybody remembers anything we discussed from the previous discussion? Anything you remember, liked, understood? Anything struck you, found interesting from Srila Prabhupada's purport or discussion? Yes, Prerna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam. My voice is clear?
Yes, very clear.
Prabhuji, I like that analogy how our evil propensities again come back even though we are practicing devotees, and what happens when we leave the association of devotee. You gave the very nice analogy of how some animals when they are in the jungle and they go in the cave because of some fear, and after some time they keep up their heads to see whether that fear has gone or not. So like that, our evil propensities, when we are not with the devotees, they come again, because our behavior sometimes it's different with when we are with the devotees. Our behavior is as per the Vaishnava etiquettes and all that, but we are not able to maintain that flow when we are in families or relatives and friends, all that. So I like that very much. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Yes. So the conclusion is that we should always try to have an atmosphere around us, or whether where most of the time we should be surrounded by devotees. That is actually a safe atmosphere for us. We will have to will behave properly. Okay, very good. Thank you. Anybody else? Anything else you remember? Okay. Arun Prabhu is actually in the hospital. He's having difficulty. Still is very enthusiastic. I must admire his enthusiasm. Utsaha Nishchaya Dhairya. Yes, Arun.
I remember from like 16.1920, you explained that in like Krishna says, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, and in 16.20, gradually they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. So you explained that it is not exactly as the statement may mean literally, but because due to their activity, because it is like mercy of Krishna that they go to such kind of species so that they can like their karma may get diminished, and then they can again get bhakti or bhakti swikriti or association of devotees, so that they can again come into path of devotional service.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Thank you. Very important point about Krishna says what is it? Uh, Kshipami Ajashram. Ajashram means repeated again and again. So it's a tough love of the parents. Sometimes the parents in our childhood, they used to get us out of the house. So it does not mean that they are punishing us for some time, but it is not that they want us to be out of the house permanently, forever. No, actually they love us, and out of that love only, that tough love, they are actually giving us a punishment. So similarly here also Krishna, when he says Ajashram Kshipami Ajashram, means it is not that forever. Krishna is the most merciful. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu. So we saw that in the case of Putana also. So Krishna is very, very merciful, and the mercy can be seen by the acharyas in so many ways. Number one is then when they are being cast into the lower species, they stop further blaspheming Krishna. That is the thing. And then Krishna also sees them whenever they blaspheme Krishna, or we see them in case of Srila Prabhupada also, whenever some criticism used to be there in the newspaper, Srila Prabhupada used to say them, okay, read how many times they have spoken Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna does this. Hare Krishna is very bad. So many times they are actually chanting Hare Krishna. That is going to be to their credit, like that. So this way also is also very, very merciful, and then he stops their further blasphemy and then gives them the another chance also, like that. It is not that the Krishna is never going to show them. So sometimes there is a shabdartha and there is a bhavartha. Shabdartha means actually the direct meaning, literal meaning. Okay. And then the other is actually what actually the bhava behind those words. What do we actually mean? That's how the acharyas actually explain us. And Krishna is not that, like an ordinary living entity with an ordinary human, I mean, the body made up of material elements like all of us. So somebody is envying us. So we also envy that person. Or tit for tat, that is there. Say they don't want to reciprocate with Krishna positively. Therefore, Krishna is casting them into the demoniac species. No, no, that is not the way. It is actually Krishna's reciprocation, but that is the reciprocation is also mercy, and it is a kind of a tough parents love, like that. And of course, we have seen how Krishna is giving his mercy through his devotees. When these demoniac species, animal species, they come in contact with the great devotees. We have the famous case of Narad Muni and Mrugari. Such was a hunter, he used to derive happiness from half killing the animals, and when they were actually uh, they were in a great pain. He used to be delighting in that. But from that stage, when the Narad Muni came second time with his friend Parvat Muni, that same hunter is now transformed, and he doesn't want to even step on the ants. What a transformation. So this is the case with Srila Prabhupada also. Srila Prabhupada went all over the world, and he actually transformed all the impious lives of the misdirected civilization, including all of us. And therefore Sukadeva Goswami prays in the second canto, Kirata Hunanda Pulinda Pulkasha Abhirshunda, that so many species, demoniac species, or the sinful groups of people, they have been mentioned. And it is said, Yanne Japapa Yadapashraya Shraya Shuddhanti Tasme Prabha Vishnave Nama. All the 7-8 categories of sinful people, categories, and any other category, this list is not exhaustive. So they are there. If they take Yadapashraya Shraya, if they take shelter of those who have taken shelter of the law, Yadapashraya Shraya. That is, Srila Prabhupada, they have taken shelter of Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada has taken shelter of Lord Sri Krishna very firmly, his lotus feet. Shuddhanti tasmai Prabha Vishnave. They will be purified of all their demoniac qualities, all their sinful qualities, mentalities, activities, etc. etc. Shuddhanti Tasme Prabha Vishnave Nama. Lord Vishnu is so powerful. What to speak about Lord Vishnu's power? Even if these sinful people or demoniac people take shelter of the Lord's devotee, they will be purified. That is how powerful Lord Vishnu is, and to such a Lord Vishnu, I pay my respectful obeisances. That's how Sukadeva Goswami is remembering the Lord, and that's how Lord is also merciful. His mercy flows through his devotees, and Srila Prabhupada is a practical demonstration, na bhuto na bhavishyati, in the recent history, like that. Okay, so all the world, all the demonic species, all of us, we have hope as long as we stick to Srila Prabhupada and follow his instructions and his teachings. Now, that's the next part now. Uh, Text 21 to 24, these last 4 or 5 verses, Lord Sri Krishna will advise us how to avoid being demoniac. And now the first instruction is giving here is, if you want to avoid being demoniac, please avoid these 3 doors to the hell. They are the openings. They open up the demoniac thinking, demoniac life, demoniac tendencies, activities, etc. Trividam, three kinds of Narkesyadam Dwaram, three types of doors to the hell, Narak. Because earlier it has been said, all these demonic species, they Narake Ashucha, being unclean, they go to the hell, like that. Now here it is being said, Trividam Narkesyadam Dwaram Nashanam Atmanam. Dwaram Nashanam Atmanam means these are the 3 doors. They will actually degrade a soul. Nashanam Atmanam means, again here, this is not literal Nashanam Atmanam. Again, we have been talking about Shabdartha and Bhava. Direct meaning and indirect meaning. So, self is not destroyed, Nashanam Atmana means, but self is definitely degraded because of these 3. And what are these 3? Kama, Krodha, Tata, the lust, anger, and the greed. Tasma, therefore, etat trayam taji. Therefore, every man must give up these tendencies of being greedy, being angry, and being lusty. Okay, so we read that small purport also. Srila Prabhupada says this is the beginning of the demoniac life is described. So nowadays we see in the society, mostly the social media everywhere, whether it's movies, social media, everywhere these things are actually giving rise. They're not only giving rise, they glorify the angry young man, and even in the small children's cartoons, they will have some sailor man, he's always having a girlfriend, and is always enjoying with his girlfriend, and if there's an enemy, he's always beat him up, etc., like that. So even in the cartoons, you see the movies, you see the advertisements, anything you take, these things are actually lust, and the anger, and the greed that has been actually being promoted, and that's considered something which is very glorious, like that. So if you study any of the crime, any crime, or basic, these things are there behind that crime. There is some illicit connection, something going on, there is some greed for money, etc., and then there's some, actually somebody has insulted somebody badly, and some anger is aroused, and in the feat of anger, the person actually commits some crime. So that's how actually this is being going on. And uh, it starts with this kama krodha tatha lokas. So if you study, I mean, we already studied Bhagavad Gita chapter number 3, where is Nishkama Karma Yoga. So in the Nishkam Karma Yoga, the obstacle is the kama. Nishkama means selflessly, without any personal motives or without any material motives. You have to, being connected with the Lord, perform all the activities for the satisfaction of the Lord. Yajnarthat karmananyatra lokoyam karma badhanam tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samaj. Like that. If you don't perform your activities for the pleasure of the Lord, Yajna, Lord Sri Krishna, then that work will be binding. So Nishkam Karma Yoga is the theme. And what is the greatest obstacle for Nishkam Karma Yoga is the Kama. Nishkam, opposite to Nishkam, is the Kama Krodha Sata Lokas. So there also Lord Sri Krishna has very nicely analyzed this. Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rikaguna Samudbhava. I mean, in fact, a very good question was asked by Arjuna. Atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha. What is that impels a person to perform sinful activities? This demoniac activities, sinful activities. Atakena prayuktoyam prapam charit anichan api varshneya, without his own desire. Baladiva niyojan, as if somebody is forcing him. What is that forces person to perform something? Have you has any of you seen a doctor who's smoking? Do you know any doctor who's actually drinking, etc.? Maybe our yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
some of you are saying yes, some of you are nodding your heads.
So
But
many, so many, so
so
many doctors are drinking and smoking.
yes,
Being a doctor, I'm into
yes, you are a doctor, so you know this very well from your circle. So actually, I also had a friend in college days whose father was MBBS doctor. He was staying nearby. I used to go to him all the time for consultation, and whenever he used to go him, unfortunately, he's always smoking, chain smoker. And just to honor us, show us mercy, whenever he used to go, he'll just keep it for some time in the ashtray. As soon as we are departing, immediately he'll take out and start smoking, drinking also. So, doctor who's advising others for about their physical or health, about their health and being healthy, how come do they not know this is injurious to themselves, their health, etc.? Is it not? They don't know. They know, of course, definitely they know. But what is that? So Lord is replying, is Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajo Gunas, Ana Mahashano Mahapapma, Vidhi Enam Ye Vairina. Please know that this is our Vairi, Nitya Vairi. Please know that this Maha Ashano, he is going to devour everything. And Maha Papma, the most sinful. And what is that? Kama Esha Krodha. That Kama, the lust, the propensity to enjoy. Therefore, even if he's a doctor, he has studied it, he is advising others, he has a practical experience, but still he can't stop because Purusha Prakriti stoi bhungte Prakriti jati. That tendency to enjoy, bhungte, is actually very, very deep rooted and very, very strong, that even our intelligence we will not actually come into handy like that. So this karma, when this is actually lose-lose situation. When the karma is not fulfilled, the enjoyment propensity is not fulfilled, is not gratified, some obstacle comes, the krodh will come. Kama anuja. Krodh is called as kama anuja. He is following the kam like that. As soon as it is obstructed, enjoyment is obstructed, the anger will arise. And if the calm is fulfilled, what will happen? The greed will arise, right? As soon as we enjoy nicely, the mind will say, give me more. Ye dil mange more, right? I want more. Like that, the mind will desire next time even more, next level, etc. Like that. So this is how actually this is a lose-lose situation. And what is the solution Lord advises towards the end of the third chapter? Evam buddhe param buddha samstabhyatmanam atmana jahi shatrum mahabahu kamarupam duras. So this enjoying propensity, this lust is actually the very, very great enemy of the soul. So what you do, knowing that the soul is transcendental, evam buddhe param buddha samstabhya atmanam atmana, by the steady intelligence, by spiritual intelligence, by Krishna consciousness, try to steady the mind, because the mind is the one which is actually indulging us in all the sinful and in the enjoying propensity. All the enjoyment is in the mind only, even not even actually in enjoyment. When we do that, oh, we feel, oh, there's nothing great about it, right? Like that. So all that enjoyment, when you don't have an object, I want that, I want that, I want that. So that's how the mind is always, not letting us sit peacefully like that. So steady that mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, by the strength of Krishna consciousness. And how to do that? That by taking help of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, we can actually try to overcome this. So this is how we need to deal with the calm, and we need to be always in the association of the devotees and count our blessings. Thou at least now come to know theoretically all these things, analysis which Lord is telling in the Bhagavad Gita. And now we can count our blessings, that how fortunate we are to come under the shelter of ISKCON and taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So by philosophical conviction, by studying, by hearing, by discussing again and again, and then by sincerely and seriously practicing our devotional service under the guidance and in the association of the devotees, that is the only way out of this uh, dushta chakra, like that. So that is how it's been. advised us by Lord Sri Krishna. Trividam narkesyadam dwaram nashnamatya kama krodha satalo tasmadetam trayam. Okay, next. So avoiding is only one half of the part, right? That is not the full fledged. That's only coming from negative to zero. What about, what is the final goal like that? What about achieving perfection? So Lord Sri Krishna explains in the next verse 16.22. Eter vimukta kaunteya tamodvare stribhir nara acharati atmana shreyas tato yati param gatim. Please read. Gaurang Sri Ganga Putra translation.
The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination.
Yes. So Lord Sri Krishna is telling us, once we avoid these things, try to control them by rising from Tamoguna and Rajoguna to the platform of Sattva and then slowly towards the Shuddha Sattva. So by escaping these three gates of hell, by avoiding them and performing, that's only half part. And then positively, we have to perform the acts which are conducive to self-realization. That means we have to perform devotional service for the devotees. It's very simple. Perform devotional service, perform the 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, and then under the guidance of Guru, and all the 64 limbs will be explained in the nectar of devotion also, and thus gradually progress from sadhana bhakti to bhava bhakti and prema bhakti. That is our supreme destination, and that's how we have to achieve Krishna's abode, and going back home, back to God, like that. So, how can we achieve this purification in the life? That is by following the rules and regulations. Prabhupada writes in the purport, one should be very careful of these three enemies to human life: lust, anger, and greed. The more a person is freed from lust, anger, and greed, the more his existence becomes pure. Then he can follow the rules and regulations enjoined in the Vedic literature. So as we start becoming purer and purer, we are able to stick and follow even nitty-gritties and small things in devotional service very nicely, like that. By following the regulatory principles of human life, one gradually raises himself to the platform of spiritual realization. If one is so fortunate by such practice to rise to the platform of Krishna consciousness, then success is guaranteed for him. In Vedic literature, the ways of action and reactions are prescribed to enable one to come to the stage of purification. The whole method is based on giving up lust, greed, and anger. By cultivating knowledge of this process, one can be elevated to the highest position of self-realization. This self-realization is perfected in devotional service. In that devotional service, the liberation of the conditioned soul is guaranteed. So for devotees, the liberation is just a byproduct. It is, Acharyas have explained that for devotees, the mukti is standing at the doorstep by folding her hand, like that. It is explained. So it is not the main thing. It is actually, even Srila Haridas Thakur explains in that famous pastime where he is being offended by Gopal Chakravarti. He's saying that, uh, the holy name can eradicate all the sins. So Srila Haridas Thakur is saying, no, what to speak of the sins? Eradicating sins, sinful tendencies, sinful proclivities, etc. That is a byproduct of chanting the holy name. Actually, the holy name can award us the highest benediction, that is Krishna prema, like that, he says. So therefore, according to the Vedic system, there are instituted the 4 orders of life and the 4 status of life, called the caste system and the spiritual orders. Srila Prabhupada is now talking about the Varna and Ashrama, 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. There are different rules and regulations for different castes or divisions of society, and if a person is able to follow them, he will be automatically raised to the highest platform, spiritual realization. Then he can have the liberation without a doubt. So, Varnashrama is being advised to be followed. And the goal of the Varnashrama, as it is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam also, it is actually to please the Lord. By anyone situated in any of these 8 places, they can follow Atapumbir Jasreshta Varnashrama Vibhagsha Swanushthitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritosha. Haritoshna. Follow your varna and your ashramas for the pleasure of Guru and Lord Sri Krishna. Some Siddhir Haritoshna, like that. So, of course, now Varnashrama, everything is toxic. Although it is present, not so evident, not so, not in the same format it used to be in the earlier civilizations or earlier times, in Vedic times. But now we have to follow Daivi Varnashrama. Daivi Varnashrama means we don't know what is our Varna. Maybe we know our ashramas, but now we need to simply follow the order of the spiritual master. Take shelter of the spiritual master. We already taken shelter of Srila Prabhupada and follow their instructions to please them, to please Guru, Sadhu, and Hari. Like that, if you do that, then that's actually for us Daivi Varnashrama system. Right? So by following this, we'll be able to raise to the platform of spiritual realization or the self-realization. So whatever we are doing, it should be always aimed at not satisfying our own senses, but satisfying Guru, devotees, and Lord Sri Krishna, like that. So our journey in Krishna consciousness is from Godas to Goswami. It is from false ego to the real ego. False ego, everything is, ahankar for our status, false prestige. We are, false name, false position we are trying to do. And real ego means our real identity as the servant of all. And that's how, we have to try to move towards that particular end, like that. And that's our journey. Okay. So now, if we have to do this, if we have to avoid being demoniac, if we have to avoid the three doors to the hell, and then we have to achieve a positive self-realization platform, positive God relation, positively going back to Godhead, then how can we do this? For that, actually, it is, what Srila Prabhupada spoke about purifying our life by following the rules and regulations. But where are these rules and regulations mentioned? They are there in these scriptures. And therefore, we need to follow the scriptures. If you remember earlier also, we spoke about, Lord Sri Krishna talks about two kinds of people, demoniac and divine. And what is the main difference between them? The main difference is, anybody remembers?
Divine people follows regulations or rules given by the Lord, and demonic does not.
Yeah, correct. Yes, I hope so. Same answer Yamuna Vilas Prabhu also wanted to give.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, correct. So that's actually the main difference between divine and demonic. Following and disregarding the injunctions of the scriptures, like that. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidurasva. What to do, what not to do, is based on what? Do's and don'ts are based on what? Vidhi and nisheth based on what? It is based on the scriptures. So next verse, 16.20. यह शास्त्र विधिम उत्सृज्य वर्तते कामकारत न स सिद्धिम अवाप्नोति न सुखम न पराम गतिम. Please read, Prasanna Gopal.
He who disregards spiritual injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination.
Okay, thank you. So, yah shastra vidhi, vidhi means the rules and regulations which are prescribed in the scriptures. Utsrujya means giving up. Vartate kamakar, you give up the scriptural injunctions, do's and don'ts. What is to be done, you don't do. What is not to be done, you do. So like that, you give up these scriptural injunctions. And vartate kamakarata. Again, that kama is coming into picture now. So this demoniac, what do? They act based on their enjoying propensity. They act. Srila Prabhupada will explain this term in the purport, kamakarata. Acting whimsically in lust. Kamakarta means acting whimsically. Whimsically means what? That's something which we are supposed to do or which has been told to us to do in the scriptures that we don't do. And that's something which is forbidden, we would like to do. That's actually whimsical. Vartate kamaka. So what is the result of such things? Nasa siddhim avapnoti. You will not achieve siddhi, you will not achieve perfection. Na sukham, nor the happiness, even in this life, next life. Na paramgati. See these three things, na siddhim, na sukham, na paramgati. Paramgati means the supreme destination, the ultimate goal of human life. you will not be able to achieve. So what is this Shastra Vidhi refers to? As described before, the Shastra Vidhi, or the direction of the Shastras, is given to different castes nowadays of human society. Everyone is expected to follow these rules and regulations. If one does not follow them and acts whimsically according to his lust, greed, and desire, then he never will be perfect in his life. So the modern society talks about our freedom, our rights. They never talk about the responsibility. They just want to act loosely without any restrictions. Srila Prabhupada gives the example of the serpents. They want to act loosely without any restrictions. Similarly, our senses, they want to act whimsically without any restrictions. Oh, why you want us to follow rules and regulations? It is our life. Don't tell us what to do, what not to do. We are free. We want to be modern, free, etc. Like that. So these are the regulative principles of freedom. If you want to actually achieve the ultimate freedom, if you by following these rules and regulations, you will actually achieve the freedom. Now we are not free. We have been encased in this particular body, and we're always, governed by these three modes, and we're suffering here so many ways like that. So by acting loosely, we are going to suffer more also. So what is the purpose of these scriptural rules and regulations? Okay, they are meant for the gradual elevation to the perfect stage of devotional service. One may theoretically know all these things, but if we do not all follow them, actually apply them in our life, then we are actually the lowest of the mankind. Even if one follows the rules and regulations but does not come to understanding of the Supreme Lord, then all his knowledge is spoiled. And even if we accept the existence of the God, and if we don't engage in the service of the Lord, his attempts are also spoiled. So this emphasis on being not just knowing theoretically, jnanam, but vijnanam, by applying that theoretical knowledge. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada always used to say, it is not sufficient to know that aham brahmasmi, I am the spirit soul. What do you do next? Engage that spirit soul in the service of the supreme soul or the super soul. That is actually the thing. And then in the second paragraph, kama karata. So that kama karata is being explained. The word kamakarta is very significant. A person who knowingly violates the rules acts in lust. He knows that this is forbidden, but still he acts. This is called acting whimsically. He knows that this should be done, but still he does not do it. Therefore, he is called whimsical. Such persons are destined to be condemned by the Supreme Lord. Such persons cannot have the perfection which is meant for the human life. Only in human life we can follow these rules and regulations, right? Only only a human being, when there's a traffic signal red light, they will stop. But if there's a dog or there's a cat, will they stop at the traffic signal red light? They will just cross simply, right? So all the rules, regulations, austerities, etc., they're meant for human beings only. The human life is especially meant for purifying one's existence, and one who does not follow the rules and regulations cannot purify himself, nor can he attain the real stage of happiness. And that's how the next verse will come. I think there's one quotation by Srila Prabhupada. So we'll read that. So who will read? Aruna Mataji, can you please read from the screen?
Yes, Bhagavad Gita 16.23, Shastras are meant for human beings. Therefore, Krishna says, Yeh Shastra Vidhim Utsrajya Vartate Kama Karta. Bhagavad Gita 16.23. Anyone who does not care for the instructions given in the Shastra, just like anyone who does not care for the laws of the state, what kind of man he is? He is a loafer, a outlaw. He is not a respectable citizen. Similarly, anyone who does not follow the Shastras are meant for human beings, not for the cats and dogs and hogs. As law is meant for the human being, not for the cats and dogs, therefore we have to follow the Shastric injunction. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita or Vyasadeva says in the Puranas, in the Vedanta Sutra, they are meant for, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, अनादि बहिर्मुख जीव कृष्ण भूलि गेला. अतएव कृष्ण वेद पुराण करिला. CC Madhyalila 20.117.
1 second. Oh. Yes. Please read. Continue.
What for these Vedas and Puranas are meant? Because we have forgotten Krishna, we have forgotten Krishna. Therefore, to revive our Krishna consciousness, so many Vedic literatures are there. So many. So Shastras, Shastra Chakshu, everything we have to take from the Shastras. Because we are blind now, Shastra Chakshu, the Shastra Jnana, because the spiritual master enlightens the disciple with Shastra Jnana, therefore he is a spiritual master. If the spiritual master bluffs the disciple, then he is not spiritual master. Bluffing, no. Om Agyanta Mirandhasya. This is Guru. Guru means he's always enlightened the disciple with the light of Shastras, not that he will say, there is no need of Shastra. I am incarnation. Whatever I speak to you, whatever I speak, you take it. No, this is rascal. You should immediately, who has no reference to the Shastra, immediately take him as a rascal number one. This is the conclusion.
Thank you. So there are so many people out there, on the social media here, there. They speak very eloquently. They may speak very nicely, and they may appear to be very intelligent, but many of them actually don't have any basis for the scriptures. They openly say, I have not read Bhagavad Gita, but they still go on telling their opinion. It is like this, it is like that, you should do this, do that. And all that is actually been condemned by Srila Prabhupada and the scriptures, like that. So therefore, devotees always try to maintain the balance of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Shastra are actually the only out of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra are the most. Shastras are the independent entity. Shastras are not dependent on anyone because Shastras are coming from Lord Sri Krishna, Apaurishaya. They are the perfect source of information. Lord only has given Purana and etc. Like here it said earlier, also we discussed Maya Mugdha Jiver Nahi Sota Krishna Gyan, Jivera Krupa Ikaila Krishna Veda Puran. So Krishna only in the form of Vyasadeva has come and given us all the scriptures. So these are the actually Apaurusha. They're not been written or told by any mundane beings, human beings with 4 defects. So they're always perfect. And then the Guru and the Sadhu, they always, because we cannot just directly go to scriptures and read it. We cannot understand everything. That again is explanation as per the time, place, circumstances, the application part, etc., etc. And therefore, we need to approach a Guru who will tell us based on the scriptures, also based on the time, place, and circumstances, the application of those principles. And therefore, it's very, very important to be avoiding being demoniac and achieving the perfection. The next verse and the last verse of this chapter, Lord Sri Krishna tells us, Tasmat Shastra Pramanam Te Karya Vyavasthito Gyatva Shastra Vidhanottam Karma Kartum Iharasi. Please read. Prasanna Gopalpu, you read already?
Yes, with 23rd.
Okay, so Madhav Harinam Prabhu, can you please read?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated.
Please read the first paragraph. Purport.
Purport. As stated in the 15th chapter, all the rules and regulations of the Vedas are meant for knowing Krishna. If one understands Krishna from the Bhagavad Gita and becomes situated in Krishna consciousness, engaging himself in devotional service, he has reached the highest perfection of the knowledge offered by the Vedic literature. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made this process very easy. He asked people simply to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and to engage in devotional service of the Lord and eat the remnants of food stuff offered to the deity. One who is directly engaged in these devotional activities is to be understood as having studied all Vedic literature. He has come to the conclusion perfectly. Of course, for the ordinary persons who are not in Krishna consciousness or who are not engaged in devotional service, what is to be done and what is not to be done must be decided by the injunctions of the Vedas. One should act accordingly without arguments. That is called following the principles of Shastra or scriptures. Shastra is without the four principles of defects that are visible in the conditioned soul. In perfect senses, the propensity for cheating, certainty of committing mistakes, and certainty of being illusioned. These four principal defects in conditioned life disqualify one from putting forth rules and regulations. Therefore, the rules and regulations as described in the Shastra, being above these defects, are accepted without alteration by all great saints, acharyas, and great souls.
Okay, thank you. So that's how the highest perfection is actually to know Krishna. We studied in the 15th chapter, Vedesha Sarve Aham Eva Vedyo. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada says, has further, Lord Krishna told us the Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago, but still we are not able to understand, follow. So Lord Krishna comes again in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and teaches by his own example how to perform devotion service, how to apply the principles mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, how to take shelter of Lord Sri Krishna, surrender to him, how to engage, how to associate with the devotees, and all those, how to make those loving exchanges with the devotees, etc., etc. So all these things he's teaching us by his personal example, and he's just telling us avoid being offensive, avoid the offenses, committing offenses to the devotees, and then also chant the holy name, like that. These two things, if you do this, it is the guaranteed that we can make progress by leaps and bounds in spiritual life. And that's how he has made it easy and given it to us. So okay, so next now, next paragraph somebody can read. Prerna Mataji, can you read? In India.
Sorry, Prabha, someone in clinic. I'm in clinic. I won't be able to read.
You are not able to read? Okay, fine. Somebody else can read. Who's Anuradha Mataji? Will you be able to read? Or no?
No, Prabhuji. Actually, I'm out of station, so I don't have Bhagavad Gita now.
I will only read, no problem.
At present.
So in
Yeah.
India, there are many parties of spiritual understanding, generally classified as two: the impersonalist and the personalist. Why Srila Prabhupada is mentioning? Because although they are impersonalists, whatever, but still they follow scriptures. They may they may misunderstand, and they may mislead others. They may misinterpret also, but still they try to follow. The impersonalists and the personalists, both of them, however, lead their lives according to the principles of Vedas. Without following the principles of the scriptures, one cannot elevate himself to the perfectional stage. One who actually therefore understands the purport of the Shastras is considered fortunate. And Srila Prabhupada has made us all fortunate by giving his Bhaktivedanta purports. It's very, very easy. Okay. And then Srila Prabhupada may summarize the entire thing now. In human society, aversion to the principles of understanding Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all faults. That is the greatest offense of human life. What is that? Aversion to understanding Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Maya, the material nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always giving us trouble in the shape of the threefold miseries. So, in the first canto of Bhagavatam, the glories of Bhagavatam are there in the first three verses. Then the glories of Sudha Goswami are being mentioned in the very first chapter. Then the glories of the people of Kali Yuga, they are mentioned. Prayana alpayusha sabhyakalo asmin yuga jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya. So first of all, they have a less and less lifespan. The lifespan is decreasing day by day, like that. Prayana alpa ayusha. And then manda, they're actually very, very lazy for spiritual realization, for traversing the path of spiritual path. People are very, very lazy. They will be very, very enthusiastic in doing everything else, but spiritual life, they're very, very lazy. Manda. Sumanda matayu. Even if somebody wants to follow spiritual path, there are so many people who are sitting there to misguide them. Sumanda matayu. And manda bhagya, therefore they're less fortunate. And upadruta. Upadruta means they're always troubled by something or the other. Something, that's what Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here. The Maya is always giving trouble in the shape of three forms. Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik. This happened, that happened. So many things are happening, and then Janma Mrityu Jara, they are always there. So, this material energy is constituted of three modes of material nature. One has to raise himself at least to the mode of goodness before the path of understanding the Supreme Lord can be opened. Without raising oneself to the stand of mode of goodness, one remains in ignorance and passion, which are the cause of demoniac life. So the basics, Srila Prabhupada is clarifying. Wherever we are now, we need to slowly rise up to the, by prescribed method of living and acting, we have to rise to the platform of mode of goodness. Prescribed means who is giving prescription? Doctor is giving prescription to the patient. There are so many medicines available, but we don't take it according to what I like, but according to what is prescribed for me. So prescription is given by the scriptures and the Guru also. So that by following that, we can raise to the platform of goodness, and then we can slowly try to understand everything as black and white. Those in the mode of passion and ignorance deride the scriptures, deride the holy man, and deride the proper understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They disobey the instructions of the spiritual master, and they do not care for the regulations of the scriptures. In spite of hearing the glories of devotional service, they are not attracted. Thus, they manufacture their own ways of elevation. These are some of the defects of human society which lead to the demoniac status of life. If, however, one is able to be guided by a proper and bona fide spiritual master who can lead one to the path of elevation, to the higher stage, then one's life becomes successful. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport to the 16th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the divine and divine natures. So that's how we already come to this platform now. And now we have to make it successful after having known it theoretically. We have to practice it like that. So I think so we are at the end of this 16th chapter. We can also take a break here now. But before taking break, if I would like to see any questions or any comments, anything you would like to add? Yes, Prerna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, it's said again and again. Again, we hear in your lectures so many times that we should abide by the scripture. We should practice to control our lust, our anger, and greed. But there is a disunity in what we hear. Although we are a practicing devotee, we are not able to give our 100% in applying that. That may be because of our anarthas or because of our material conditioning. We are not able to give it 100% and to follow that 100%. Though we want to, we have earnest desire. So at that time, sometimes we feel guilty. So what is the solution for this, Prabhuji?
So your question is, we know everything, we are reading, we are hearing, but still we are not able to follow. So what is the solution? Is that your question?
No, we are trying to follow. We follow it 50%, but not 100%.
Okay, we are not able to follow up to the standard, up to the mark, up to the 100%. So what is the solution? Yes. Okay. So the solution, we need not be discouraged by some failure. Like Srila Prabhupada went to the West. What an example, what a determination. So Srila Prabhupada had. So much of he has to face. He did not achieve success immediately. He retired to Vrindavan. He was preparing himself for so many years, writing Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, 5-6 years by staying in Vrindavan, in Radha Damodar temple. Then he traveled, getting so many problems in getting tickets, passage to the West. Even after landing there, so many issues for 1 year. The weather, no friends, no contact, nobody's helping. But still he did not give up. He maintained his utsahat, nishchayat, dhairya, tat karma pravartana. Sangatyaga sato, tis shadvir bhakti prasiddhi. So similarly, immediately a small child, if you ask him, oh, can you run 100 meters in 10 seconds? Oh, he may try, he may run, but it is not possible for him. He may try to run, he will fall down again and again. Again, he has to get up. But then it requires some training, education, guidance, how eager we are, how enthusiastic we are, how nicely we are planning, how nicely we are taking guidance. Whatever doubts are there, are we solving them immediately there and then, or keep lingering those doubts, bottling up like that? So this is also required. So by doing all these things by determination, by not losing our enthusiasm, by taking proper guidance, by continuously trying to study the scriptures and being in touch with Srila Prabhupada's purpose, and also practically adjusting our lifestyle. One may know theoretically, but sometimes most of the devotees we fail where, because we know something which is at one level, and what we are able to follow is actually at another level. So the gap is there. So the gap will not go in just one day. Slowly, slowly, slowly it will go. But we need to be determined. We need to be taking guidance. Guidance is the most important part in the spiritual life. Otherwise, if we make our mind our guru, then that's it. Then we had it. I mean, we may have a spiritual master, but that spiritual master may or may not be accessible to all the devotees, especially at our level. But at least there should be some devotee in our life where there is some doubt and something practical application is considered. We should be able to call him up and ask him or speak to him, and the doubt is resolved, and we should go further. So this we need to do on daily basis, continuous basis, and that's how that gap needs to be reduced between what we know and where our behavior is there, like that, where the standard of our devotional services.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, Arun Prabhuji, you are in the hospital. You want to ask question?
Actually, I had one question. This like in 16.23, it came that acts according to his own wills, and you told that it means that he is not acting like what is written in scripture. He is not doing that, and what is not written, he is doing. Till now, I had understanding that he like acting on his whims means that he is like whatever is coming to his mind. I'll ask later, Guruji.
I couldn't get the last part.
Doctor has come.
Okay. We'll take it later on. Also, we can discuss personally. Also, you can send me. Madhav Harinam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Krishna says that Tasmat Shastram Pramanante Karyakartam Vyavastito Gyatva Shastra Vidhanatva Karma Kartum Arhasi. So that means before doing anything, we have to consult Shastra, whether it is to be done or not to be done. But in Shastra, it also say we have to follow the spiritual master. Satisfying the spiritual master is the secret of success in spiritual life, as Prabhupada said also. But we can see that different spiritual masters give different instructions. And sometimes the instructions also they have some parallel between instructions. So in that case, what we should do, because
I didn't get your last part. So you're saying different spiritual masters, they have different emphasis or instructions.
yes,
So
that's why there comes confusion that which is to be followed, because every time the authority they give reference to Shastra and they put in Shastra, but they focus on different things. And and also we can see that sometimes whatever instruction has come, that instruction there are, we can see that the better instruction is other one, but should we follow that or not? Because uh, scripturally they are both are correct, but still the spiritual master gives different instruction, and then sometimes we become confused that which one is right. And no faith on, then the faith loses on the devotee or the spiritual master who gives the instruction in our daily life, practical life. So what should we do? Because here it is said that we should consult Shastra.
okay, so as I understand your questions, you're saying the Shastra gives some instructions, then different spiritual masters they give different instructions, and that creates some confusion. So what should we follow? Is that your question?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So I mean, uh, there can be different authorities. There can be one Diksha Guru, there can be different Shiksha Gurus, etc. So I don't know the context in which you are asking this specific question. Maybe you are in the ashram, and in the ashram there are different managerial authorities and spiritual authorities, etc., etc. So that may, if that is creating confusion, or different instructions are coming from different authorities, and both of them are authorities for us. So the easiest way is to avoid the confusion is not take decision on our own. If that is the case, if you find some contradictory instruction, of course, all the instructions, they may be superficially different, but ultimate aim is to please Krishna, Guru, and devotees only. But still, if you are having practically following challenges in practically following those different instructions, then we should clarify to both of them. To clarify, at least try to bring them to the same platform and try to resolve it, whatever it may be. And then once everybody agrees on one particular this thing, final go, then we should generally try to follow that particular authority. So therefore, there can be so many people we can take inspiration from. We can take inspiration from so many, but we need to follow one. Otherwise, what will happen? There will be confusion for us. There will be confusion. So respect everyone, hear many, but follow one. That is the formula generally. So you may have your one authority from whom you can derive the highest spiritual inspiration, or he is the highest authority for you. Then even if somebody else says something else, you can always go to that authority and clarify. And then whatever he says, then if you follow, then our position is actually safe. Of course, we should not follow anything blindly also. We should always counter check that with the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. But in general, this is the principle.
Just like example, Prabhu, there are two authorities. Then one authority focus on service only, and they give second priority to sadhana. And there is another authority, and he focus on sadhana first, and then he gives priority to service. So the both of them, they though both are right, but they give quotation from scriptures that to back up themselves. But still, there comes some ambiguity. Ambiguity is there. So sometimes we confuse that both of them are right. Both of them are doing very nicely in their service, and they're successful in their spiritual life also. But still, how to
Yeah, what to do in that is, yes. So do you have any other authority, above these two authorities, I mean to say, in terms of hierarchy, in terms of your own Diksha Guru or spiritual master? You can, there are so many opportunities where we can ask them the questions. So this is the question we can ask them, because this needs to be answered by somebody who knows you and your strong areas, and what is better for you at particular stage of life, etc. So this is a kind of a counseling scenario also, you can say. And you can consult higher authority, and you can go to some third authority with whom you also have faith and confidence, and who is also very mature and also very nicely able to guide you. You can go to them personally and speak out these things and take guidance. That also you can.
Okay, well.
Hare Krishna. Krishna Gopal.
Prabhuji, actually, when I was contemplating on the demonic qualities, when we heard, so all these demonic qualities are still present at this moment also. So what to speak of when we came into Krishna consciousness, that time it was high, like maybe higher grade. So the question comes like why Krishna consciousness come to us, and how did we accept that in that situation also? So
Okay.
and who accepts and who do not accept, even though like majority all the like most of the demonic qualities are there, but still some like same personality, the coach the teacher approaches to that same category, but some people accept and some do not. So is it like only the guest sukriti or causeless mercy of that devotee? So that was like I was searching for the answer, but is there any common description for it?
Okay. So the way I understand your question is, uh, even though we have demoniac, how come we have accepted Krishna consciousness? And in a general preaching scenario, some accept although that is available to everyone, some do not accept, or some accept to different degree, others accept to different degrees. Even you see in the association of the devotees, not everybody is at the same level of faith or following, performing devotional service, etc., etc. So the answer can be given that it is actually the Krishna is mercy. Krishna is actually very, very merciful to us. And therefore, Krishna is trying to, as I said earlier, also Prabhupada says, 1 to 17, Krishna is more eager than what we are to take us back to Godhead. So therefore, Krishna is making so many arrangements for us, the rebellious souls, to become Krishna conscious. So despite all our disqualifications and etc., etc., he is still presenting us an opportunity to come to him and to surrender to him through so many devotees. So that's how, although we are not completely demoniac, neither we are completely saintly, still the Krishna consciousness opportunity is being presented to us. That's what I understand. And secondly, it is the free will. There is no other reason than the free will that why somebody accepts some to greater degree and somebody accepts to the lesser degree. That's free will. And if you want to go further to the previous lifetimes, then we are what we have been doing earlier also. We have a history, a lot of history also, right? So somebody has been following devotional life or devotional progress, whatever we have made earlier, and somebody takes it very quickly and advances it very quickly because he's already done enough progress till last time. Somebody is very new also, very neophyte in this life itself to Krishna consciousness. They may be very slow. So it's actually very multiple scenarios are there. Sometimes you may not have desire, but some preacher is so strong and so sincere and so pure that by his preaching, it is balotpadit. Our faith is developed. Like Prabhupada went there. When Prabhupada was speaking, Prabhupada was preaching, Prabhupada was dealing with people, they wanted to, dedicate their lives. These young American women, men and women, 18, 20, 25 years. They were, Janand Prabhu, he was a mechanical engineer. He was driving taxi for 18 hours and running a temple. He was a temple president. How come? Because of the force of a pure devotee. So also, I may preach to some people they take it not. Somebody is more purer or better devotee, he preaches to the same group of people, they may be able to take it also very nicely. So many factors are there. The devotee who's preaching, our free will, our previous progress till the previous lives, etc. That's how I can answer.
Okay, Bhagwan, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I think so we need to take a break now. If there are any more questions, we can park them and we'll take it towards 1:30, 1:35. So we'll take a 5 minutes, 6 minutes break and come back at 12:50. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare. So now we are going to begin a new chapter, the divisions of faith. Shraddha-traya Vibhaga Yoga. That is the Sanskrit name. So the link between the 16th chapter and the 17th chapter, I will explain. So in the last verses, Lord Krishna was telling about the demoniac people. Yah shastra vidhim utsrujya vartate kama karata. Those who give up the scriptural injunctions, do's and don'ts, and they act whimsically. So that is a demoniac. But then Arjuna had a doubt that yah shastra vidhim utsrujya yajante shraddhayanvita. There may be some people who do not act according to scriptural injunctions, but they act or they worship with a lot of faith. Okay, so how do you explain this? Then Krishna goes on to describe the worship in the three modes. Shraddha Tare Vibhaga Yoga means this is the division of faith in goodness, passion, and ignorance. So there is a faith in three modes, there is a worship in three modes, there is a food in three modes, there are sacrifices in three modes, there are austerities in three modes, and there are charities in the three modes. And how can we, by chanting Om Tat Sat, purify all of these activities? That will be actually explained in this particular 17th chapter. So now there are three sections of this 17th chapter, Shuddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. The first 10 verses, they talk about the faith, worship, and food in three modes. Then 11 to 22, they talk about sacrifices, austerities, and charity in three modes. And lastly, 23 to 28, chanting Om Tat Sat, how it purifies our activities. That has also been explained. So 17.1, the first verse, Arjuna is asking this question. Arjuna uvacha yashastra vidhim utsrujya yajante shraddhayanvita tesham nishtha tuka Krishna sattvam aho rajastama. Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of scriptures but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? So do you know any worship? Have you witnessed? Have you been doing it yourself, or you're observed it around, where people are not acting or worshipping according to the scriptures, rules and regulations, but still they are having some faith, they are having some worshipping tendencies, and they are, whatever faith they are doing, they are worshipping, they are taking to that particular worship like that. Any example you are able to quote or cite? Yes, Yamuna will ask you.
Prabhuji, I know one organization, I don't want to name it, but they have like, there is some person who, I think in 1930s or somewhere around that, 19th century, he he uh, he was a businessman basically, and then he just said everyone that he got a realization, and then everyone started like there is some, they also wake up early in the morning, they do a meditation, and the whole parampara started, and they call it like Baba comes and enlightens them early in the morning, and they consider him to be the god. So that worship has started, which is not as per scriptures, and they also understand that there is hell, heaven, lust, anger, greed, pride, and all this philosophy they know, which is coming from scripture. But they are telling that the Baba that he has revealed this knowledge. So
the entire, which is this is like the entire organization. The people are having a lot of faith in that. They're in mode of goodness, worshipping and everything. Many are like there are ladies who are celibate in that movement.
Okay.
So but we can see that it's not based on scripture.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Anybody else? Oh, there are a lot of hands up. Okay, I'm happy to see them. Sri Ganga Putra Prabhuji, you had any example?
Maybe like generally we see that animal sacrifices in front of goddess Kali, or generally it is not recommended in the Kali Yuga as per Shastras, but still people have faith, so still they do it.
Okay.
Even though I see like many big temples are there.
Yeah.
I don't know why these priests, whether they don't know Shastra or
Okay.
but still in the mode of ignorance they follow in this way.
Yeah. Srila Prabhupada mentions as we go further, we'll read the purport. They go to some forest and they know some ghostly being is staying there. So they give some animal in sacrifice also. That's of course in ignorance. But yes, that is true. What you said is correct. Prasanna Gopal Prabhuji.
So, a very famous festival of Ganesh Puja, Ganesh festival, 10 days. So, it was like, as we know, it's a political incident actually, which Lokmanya Tilak has started. But after that, that was for just igniting the freedom or the to ignite the fire of
So
freedom.
bringing the youth together actually.
Youth together. So that was the purpose, and then afterwards, like nowadays, like it is for their own enjoyment, and it is they are creating a lot of noise and dance, and then even the liquor drinking, and then all these things happens. And after even, of course, it's not a common, but there are many people are very piously worshipping and very faithfully worshipping. But there are most of the maximum people are doing that. But even though whoever is doing piously also, they are after 10 days they are throwing or even throwing that deity which is they have worshipped very faithfully into the even gutter or even the place where we cannot see also. So that is
Visarjan.
very against the scriptures. So that is one. And another like which is very prominent in my mind where I was staying in the hostel, just beside just Sri Ganga Prabhu highlighted na. So there also there is one Kali Puja. They were like actually killing the animals, and they were drinking the immediately killed animals' blood. That was like just it was too horrible, and they were worshipping, and it was like an annual worship they had. So it was like there are people who are doing these kind of worships.
Yes, yes. Very nice example. Yes, thank you. Prabhupada will also go on to give in the purport. Where is that? Yeah, in the fourth verse also, he will give the famous example of a businessman from Calcutta worshipping Hitler. Why? Because of Hitler, there's a lot of war and there was a lot of black market created. And in that black market during the war time, he made a lot of money. For him, Hitler was worthy of worship like that. So many years back, very almost 1980s, I'm talking about, when we were of course in the college or schools, and that time I saw myself a news on television, and that news said there is one person in the northern India, and he's having a shop, and before he opens up his shop every single day, what he does, he worships one lady. He has kept a nice photograph or whatever of that particular Bollywood star. And he takes a agarbatti, just like we have all the upcharas and mantras and agarbatti, dhoop, deep, like that. He's worshipping nicely that lady, and then only he's going to open the his shop like that. So this is how he's very faithfully he's actually worshipping that particular person. So sometimes there's so many temples, this mata, that mata, some mata, maybe some movies may be also made in our childhood. We don't know whether that mata is being there in the scriptures. Her name is there. She's one of the demigoddesses or not. But the worship is going on. So this is what is the Arjuna's question. Yeah, Shastra vidim utsrujya. They are not doing it according to scriptures exactly, but yajante shraddhayanvita. They are actually worshipping yajante shraddhayanvita. With lot of faith they are worshipping. So, lot of shraddha. So, tesham nishtha tu ka Krishna. So, what kind of their faith is there? Are they in goodness, sattvam, aho rajastama, or it is called in the passion or in the ignorance? Okay. In the, okay, I'll just read the purport. Yeah. In the 4th chapter, 39th verse, it is said that a person faithful to a particular type of worship gradually becomes elevated to the stage of knowledge and attains the highest perfection stage of peace and prosperity. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tat par sanyatendriya jnanam labdha param shantim achirena adhigacchati. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is actually paraphrasing here. In the 16th chapter, it is concluded that one who does not follow the principles laid down in scriptures is called an asura or demon. And one who follows the scriptural injunctions faithfully is called deva or demigod. Now, if one with faith follows some rules which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunctions, what is his position? This doubt of Arjuna is to be cleared by Krishna. Are those who create some sort of God by selecting a human being and placing their faith in him, worshipping in goodness, passion, or ignorance? Do you know in the South India there are a lot of temples built for politicians, ex-politicians? The temple of Ravana, there's a temple of Duryodhana, and temple of some politicians also. Maybe in India you will not be surprised if there's a temple of cricketer also in India, right? They will say he's our god, one kid is our Pandari, and cricket is our dharma. Like that they may also talk. So that you'll not be surprised by that. So what is that? This is faith in him, worshipping in goodness, passion, or ignorance. Do such persons attain the perfectional stage of life? Yes, that's an important question. Is it possible for them to be situated in real knowledge and elevate themselves to the highest perfectional stage? Do those who, so many questions Prabhupada is raising, do those who do not follow the rules and regulations of the scriptures, but who have faith in something and worship gods and demigods and men, attain success in their effort? Arjuna is putting these questions to Krishna. Now let us see what Krishna has to answer. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Trividha Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Sasvabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheditam Shrunu. Please read. Isha Mataji, can you read translation?
Yes, Prabhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now hear about this.
Okay, so Srila Prabhupada will explain about Swabhavaja. So please read the purport also.
Purport. Those who know the rules and regulations of scriptures, but out of laziness or indolence give up these rules and regulations, are governed by the modes of material nature. According to their previous activities in mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, they acquire a nature which is of a specific quality. The association of living entity with different modes of nature has been going on perpetually. Since the living entity is in the contact with material nature, he acquires different types of mentality according to his association with the material modes. But this nature can be changed if one associates with bona fide spiritual master and abides by his rules and scriptures. Gradually, one can change his position from ignorance to goodness or passion to goodness. The conclusion is that blind faith in the particular mode of nature cannot help a person become elevated to the perfectional stage. One has to consider things carefully with intelligence in the association of bona fide spiritual master. Thus, one can change his position to a higher mode of nature.
So Swabhavaja is being explained that Swabhava is actually not only of this life, this is coming from previous lives also, because we have been going on since time immemorial. So we need to be patient with our spiritual progress. We cannot just do it overnight. So many lifetimes we have been spending doing as per, under the influence of Maya. Suddenly we cannot become, we need to give some time for becoming Krishna conscious to ourselves also. So, but this because of their subhavas, because of their previous impressions, previous association, they have been doing what they have been doing also in this life. And the most important question now is, will they achieve perfection? So a blind faith in a particular mode of nature cannot help them to elevate to perfectional stage. That's actually the answer to Arjuna's question, which Lord is not giving. Lord, what is telling? Lord is only telling ki Trividha Bhavati Shraddha. Shraddha faith is of three kinds according to their Swabhavajas, Dehinam, And there's Satviki Rajasi Chaiva. And now you hear from me, but Srila Prabhupada is already giving the conclusion. It is not possible if you just carry on with the three modes, but it is possible to change our Swabhava. It is our acquired nature and go back to our spiritual nature with the help of spiritual master by following the rules and regulations of the Shastras, considering things very carefully and with intelligence. So it is said, we do not have to surrender our intelligence, we have to surrender with intelligence, like that. So all the Guru says, we always need to check with Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. That triangular check we have to make. Okay. So one's particular faith is evolved according to association of the modes. 17.3. Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata shraddha mayo yam purusho yo yashraddha sa eva sa. Please read. Aruna Mataji.
Yes, ma'am. O son of Bharat, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired.
Okay, fine. So Sattvanurupa sarvasya, according to existence, Shraddha bhavati bharata, the Shraddha will take shape. Actual Shraddha means what? It has been explained by the Acharyas. Shraddha means, what is your understanding of Shraddha? Please tell me. What Shraddha means to you? How can you define Shraddha? Srila Prabhupada, yes, Madhavarinam.
Yes, Shraddha Sabda Vishwas Prash means Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita. I know that.
Okay. Yes. This is coming in the Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Rekhe He Kurunanda 2.41,
Yes.
42 there. Yes, 41. There Srila Prabhupada writes, Shraddha means Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Kruto Hai. So if I perform Krishna conscious activities, then all the perfections are achieved. I need not do anything else. So that's how he defines Shraddha. That is the highest level of Shraddha. That is the highest level of Vishwas, confidence, like that. But this Shraddha is actually being explained by the Acharyas. That this Shraddha means Shastrartha Vishwas. That Vishwas in whatever scriptures are being telling us, developing faith in that. And that faith will come when we actually come in contact with the devotees, especially with those devotees who are living. Just like they said, there are two kinds of Bhagavatas. One is a book Bhagavad, there is a devotee Bhagavad. So devotee Bhagavad is living his life in terms of the book Bhagavad. And book Bhagavad is describing devotee Bhagavad's characters, his dealings with the Lord, etc. like that, his life sketch. So both are actually supportive to each other, and any one of them is competent for us to deliver. It is being explained by Srila Prabhupada. But a devotee Bhagavad, because he's a living example, that will help us more than just by reading scriptures on our own. So when we come in contact with the devotees, observe their life very closely, and to the degree they are following or living their life in terms of the scriptural, in terms of what we are supposed to, then they will also develop. That's what happened with Srila Prabhupada, right? They could not understand his heavy accent, Bengali accent, aged person. The theme in the youngsters in those days was never believe a person who's about 35. That was the motto of the youngsters, teenagers. But Prabhupada was almost 3 times their age. They were 18, 20, 25, and Prabhupada was almost in 70s. Why did they believe? Because they understood one thing, that Prabhupada is there, miracles are happening, things are happening miraculously. How Krishna is also helping him, and he has no other motive to, cheat us. And he's always being Krishna conscious. Whatever happens, whatever he sees, whatever he's doing, is always being Krishna conscious. By seeing his life, they got faith and they followed, and that's how they are also now able to give faith to others. So faith is actually means following the scriptures or faith in the words of the scriptures. That is actually Shraddha, and that is being developed in the association of the devotees. But here it is being said, Sattvanurupa Sarvasya means in general, according to your existence, according to your association with different modes, that kind of Shraddha, faith you will develop. Shraddha Mayoyam. Shraddha Maya means you will make, Anandamayo Abhyasa, like that. So Shraddha Mayo means A person is made up of Shraddha, like that it is being said. So that Shraddha everyone will develop. That is what actually is being explained here. And nobody, even the so-called scientist people, they also need to have faith. When they tell us 13.7 billion years ago, Big Bang happened, this happened, that happened. What are you demanding? Are you not demanding faith? Yeah. Do you have any video recording or anything like that? You are just saying something and you are demanding faith from us that this is what happened, and then 13.7 billion years ago, and that happened, this happened. So faith is required for every day-to-day activities. Whenever we go to a doctor, we take the medicines. What do I know what is there in the medicine? Whether it's a poison or there's some other chemical or nothing is there inside. I don't know anything. With some faith only, I'm taking this. When I go to barber, I have faith that when he's operating his knife, he's not going to cut my nail. When I'm boarding an aeroplane, I have faith. I don't go and ask whether you have enough driving, flying experience. Do you have the valid license or this and that? We just go and sit, relax, try to enjoy there also, right? So we have faith that this airline will take me very nicely, etc. Like so. That's how it is. So paragraph number 2, can somebody read the word Shraddha or faith? Yes,
May
Prerna.
I
Yes, please read.
The word Shraddha or faith is very significant in this verse. Shraddha or faith originally comes out of the mode of goodness. One's faith may be in a demigod or some created god or some mental concoction. One's strong faith is supposed to be productive of works of material goodness. But in material conditioned life, no works are completely purified. They are mixed. They are not in pure goodness. Pure goodness is transcendental. In purified goodness, one can understand the real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As long as one's faith is not completely in purified goodness, the faith is subject to contamination by any of the modes of material nature. The contaminated modes of material nature expand to the heart. Therefore, according to the position of the heart in contact with a particular mode of material nature, one's faith is established. It should be understood that if one's heart is in the mode of goodness, his faith is also in the mode of goodness. If the heart is in the mode of passion, his faith is also in the mode of passion. And if the heart is in mode of darkness, illusion, his faith is also thus contaminated. Thus, we find different types of faith in this world, and there are different types of religions due to different types of faith. The real principle of religious faith is situated in the mode of pure goodness. But because the heart is tainted, we find different types of religious principles. Thus, according to different types of faith, there are different types of worship.
Okay, thank you. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining, actually they're according to different modes, association, we developed different kinds of faiths, and therefore different religions have come out. And originally the mode of goodness, there can be, the actual real faith, and actually transcendental faith is, in the which is beyond the 3 modes, that is actually the Krishna consciousness. So now he will go on to explain one by one these examples, going from the 4th. Different types of faiths lead to different types of worships. 17.4 Yajante satvika devan yaksharaksham sirajasa pretan bhutganashchanye yajante tamasa jana. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. This is in general, because we find that even among the demigod worship, there is somebody in the mode of passion. Hiranyakashipu worship Brahmaji in the mode of passion. Vrikasura was there, he was worshipping Lord Shiva and cutting his own flesh, mode of ignorance, that is a worship. And those who worshippers of the Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, they're transcendental, and others are in general in goodness. So, but here the broad category is about those who worship the demigods, that's it, in the goodness. Those who worship the demons, they're in the mode of passion. And those who ghost and spirits, that's actually in the mode of ignorance. So, according to his scriptural injunction, only the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipable, but those who are not very conversant with or faithful to the scriptural injunctions worship different objects according to their specific situation in the modes of material nature. So Brahma, Shiva, Chandra, Indra, Sun, God, etc. They're being worshipped in goodness. Passion means, now Prabhupada gives the example, a man worshipping Hitler during the Second World War. We discussed that because he could make a lot of money in the black market. So that's how he was worshipping Hitler, the passion. And then the ignorance means, he explains, let's leave that. Sometimes people worship at the tomb of some dead man. Sexual service is also considered a mode of darkness. Similarly, in remote villages in India, there are worshippers of ghosts. We have seen India low-class people sometimes go to forest and they have knowledge that a ghost lives in tree. They worship the tree and offer sacrifice. These different kinds of worship are not actually God worship. God worship is for a person who are transcendently situated in pure goodness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, that Shivji which speaks, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam, when man is situated in pure goodness, he is worshipping Vasudeva. The purport is that those who are completely purified of the material modes of nature and who are transcendently situated can worship the Supreme Personality of God. So, although in this we have this Trimurti, na? Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Brahmaji is representing passion, Shivji is representing the ignorance, and Lord Vishnu is representing goodness. Although they are the representatives, Lord Vishnu or Lord Sri Krishna, they are beyond the three modes. They are not in mode of goodness. They are even Gunatita. And therefore, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. We can understand Lord Vasudeva or Krishna, and we can have his darshan, we can talk to him in Vishuddha Sattvam, which is beyond the three modes also. And then lastly, Srila Prabhupada talks about the Panchopasana. Panchopasana means those impersonalists, those they take to the Panchopasana, means 5 kinds of demigods they worship. It is actually Lord Shiva, his wife Devi Parvati or Durga, then their son Lord Ganesh, then there's a sun god, and then there is Surya. Surya also they worship. But what is their understanding? Their understanding is that you can worship any of them and come to the platform of goodness. They don't think Vishnu is in different category. They think Vishnu is only one of them. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada is writing, they worship the impersonal Vishnu form in the material world, which is known as philosophized Vishnu. Vishnu is an expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead, but if the impersonalists, because they do not ultimately believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, imagine that the Vishnu form is just another aspect of impersonal. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashtam. They actually, avajananti means deride. They deride when I come in human form. Manushim tanum ashritam. Param bhavam ajananto. There is a ajananto and avajananto. Ajananto means they don't know. Mama bhuta maheshwaram. I am the supreme among all the living entities. Therefore, they deride me. Avajananti mam mudha. Those foolish people. When I come in human form, and they think that, oh, that impersonal Brahman has taken a form now, and his form is also made up of Maya like us. So therefore, in 7th chapter, what Krishna says? Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyate mam abuddhaya. Demigod worshippers are called as alpamedasam, but these impersonals or the Mayavadis, they are called as abuddhaya, means they have no intelligence on, because they think avyaktam vyaktimapannam. Earlier it was impersonal, and now he has taken the form and come into this material world. Avatar he has taken in the form of Vyakti, in the form of person. So, Mam Abuddhya, they're actually Abuddhya. And there says, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yoga Maya Samapta. I don't reveal myself to each and every one. And they're covered by the Maya. Okay. So imagine that the Vishnu form is just another aspect of impersonal Brahman. Similarly, they imagine that Lord Brahma is the impersonal form of the material mode of passion. They sometimes describe 5 kinds of gods that are worshipable, but because they think that the actual truth is impersonal Brahman, they dispose of all worshipable objects at the ultimate end. They may worship as a tool to come to some platform. After that, they want to give it up. In conclusion, you are only becoming God, so whom you will worship after that? There's no need of worship after that. In conclusion, the different qualities of the material modes of nature can be purified through the association of persons who are of transcendental nature. So only in the association of devotees, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, Jnanavan Ma Prapadite, Vasudeva Sarvati Samahatma. So they will be, if they are fortunate enough, to come in contact, just like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Varanasi and Prakashananda Saraswati and all of them, thousands and thousands of them, Mayavadis, impersonalists, he converted them to Vaishnavas. Okay, now, next. Where is it? 78.5 and 6. Ashastra vidimo. यह शास्त्र विहितं घोरं तप्यन्ते ये तपोजना दम्बाहंकार संयुक्ता कामराग बलान्विता कर्षयन्त शरीरस्थं भूतग्रामं चेतस मां चैवान्त शरीरस्थं तान् विद्य असुरनिश्चयान्. Please read Prasanna Gopal translation.
Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impaired by lust and attachment, who are foolish, and who torture the material elements of the body as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons.
So all these are examples of ashastra vidhim. They are not mentioned in the scriptures, but they perform now austerities. And out of what? Damba, ahankara, like that, out of pride, out of making a show, out of the egoism, kama raga balanvita, impelled by the lust and attachment, they do this. And what is the effect? Karshayanta sharirastham bhutagrama chetasa. So they torture the material elements of the body as well as mam cha evanta, including me also. Krishna is saying, I am because situated in their body, sharirastham, and these are actually called as demons, like that. So this is the example. There are persons who manufacture modes of austerity and penance which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunctions. For example, fasting for some ulterior purposes, such as promote a purely political end, is not mentioned in the scriptural directions. So, very famous politicians, big leaders in India, they used to go on uposhan. Uposhan means fasting. But that fasting, that austerity is for what purpose? For a political purpose, not for advancing spiritually on the spiritual platform. Okay. Persons who take, the scriptures recommend fasting for spiritual advancement, not for some political or social purpose. Person who take to such austerities are, according to Bhagavad Gita, suddenly demoniac. Their acts are against the scriptural injunctions, ashastra vidhim, and are not beneficial for the people in general. Actually, they act out of pride and false ego. Dambha, we saw that dambha and ahankar. And kamaraga balanvita, lust and attachment for material enjoyments. By such activities, not only is the combination of material in the body is constructed, disturbed, but also the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself living within the body. So Prabhupada writes here what? Who torture the material elements of the body and as well as the super soul dwelling within. So how can one torture the super soul? What is the understanding? Torturing the super soul within the body. We are saying, Atma is transcendental. It is not affected by what is happening to the body, sukha, dukkha, etc. Then how can super soul is being affected or super soul is being tortured? Can we torture super soul? Yes, Yamuna will say.
Roji, I think my understanding is this is like the prodigal son story, right? The father, when the son revolts against the father, so the father feels pain that my son is not coming back to me. So the super souls feels that pain, that this living entity is going away from him and going in a wrong direction.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. Yes, Madhav, same thing or anything else?
Same, Prabhuji.
Okay, very nice. Yes. So actually, here is Prabhupada is clarifying that torturing means we cannot torture, but he feels the pain, as Prabhuji explained very nicely. Yes. So one is offending by not hearing his instructions through the scriptures. Okay. So such unauthorized fasting and austerities for some political ends are certainly very disturbing to others. They are not based in the Vedic literature. A demoniac person may think that he can force his enemy or other parties to comply with his desires by this method, but sometimes one dies by such fasting. These acts are not approved by the supreme personality of Godhead, and he says that those who engage in them are demons. Okay. Fine. So next verse. Now that's after describing the faith worship in three modes. Now even the food is being described and austerities are being described in the three modes. 17.7. Ahara sattvas aharas aharastva api sarvasya trividho bhavati priya yajnas tapas tatha danam tesham bhedam imam shunu. Even the food each person prefers is of three kinds according to the three modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifice, austerity, and charity. Now hear of the distinctions from me. Those who can, I'm just reading from the purport in between, those who can understand analytically what kind of performance are in the modes of material nature are actually wise. Those who consider all kinds of sacrifice of food or charity to be the same cannot discriminate and they are foolish. Okay. So Lord Krishna is actually helping us to understand how this ahar is in three modes, food that we eat every day so many times, right? So I have not come across any religion, any religious scriptural books where these three modes are described in the first place and their effects. So much of discussion is going on in the three modes, right in the last sections, even throughout Bhagavad Gita also. What are they? What are their characteristics? How can you recognize a person in which mode he is? How to gradually go from good to the goodness? How to transcend even goodness? So much of detailed discussion because they are actually subtle. Nobody can see them physically. So therefore, the information is very, very important for all of us. So now it's about the food. All the mothers, present mothers, future mothers, all the Prabhujis, they should understand this food item very, very nicely. And, Lord is talking about them. Prabhupada will not write any purport to 17.8, 9, 10, but he will explain everything in 10. So, goodness comes first. Ayu sattva bala arogya sukha priti vivardana rasya snigdha sthirarudya ahara satvika priya. So, foods dear to those in mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. So, can somebody please tell me why do we eat? I mean, we all eat, right? Day and night we eat. Why? Sometimes 2 times, 3 times, more than 3 times. Why do we eat? In general, I'm asking in general, not Shastri, in general. Why do we eat? Yes, Yamuna will ask.
Prajit, to keep our body and soul together.
To keep our body and soul together. Oh, very Shastri answer. Yes. Okay, very good. Next.
And yeah, if I am to tell in a general terms, then to get energy and so that we can do work, perform work.
Okay, fine, very nice. It's to get energy. Yes. Yes. Who else? Yes, Mataji. Who was telling? No one? Okay, fine. So Lord Krishna is here explaining 6 purposes. Why should we eat food? There are 6 purposes behind eating. So first purpose is Ayu. Ayu means what? Duration of our life. Ayu, Sattva. Sattva means existence, our consciousness. We say you are what you eat. The way whatever food you eat, that kind of thinking, existence, consciousness you will develop, right? So Sattva means existence, consciousness, willpower. Ayu Sattva, Bala, to get the strength, bodily strength, right? After Nirjala Ekadashi, we are struggling to perform even devotional service, anything physical work. Ayu Sattva, Bala, Arogya, health, most important item, most important consideration in the Vedic meals or Vedic food, you can say. So it is said, if you don't eat your food as medicine now, later on you have to eat medicine as your food. You see, sometimes people are sitting with big, big boxes and so many medicines, top, and from time to time they are, popping into their mouth some pills or the other. So that's how, our 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 understanding of eating food is only for existence or for strength, bodily strength, or for living life, continuing, existing like that. But here it is giving 6 purposes. So arogya means all our masala boxes. It is said in the kitchen, our masala box is nothing but a medicinal box. All that which is there, haldi, jira, hing, All those things, if you see, they are not just for the taste purpose, they are for, your health purpose also. So they are actually so important. Then Ayu, Sattva, Bala, Arogya, Sukha. That's all we need. No, we know actually Sukh. We want to become happy, by eating tasty food. Whether it is healthy or unhealthy, that's a different thing. But we want to eat and catch everything from around the world. So Preeti, Sukha, after the seed, Sukha or satisfaction, happiness, Preeti. Preeti means actually love develops. When two people, they eat together, there is a bonding which develops. Whether it is, school time friend, eating, college time, eating the same tiffin, or whatever else, taking out for a dinner, or sometimes political people, they, organize some Preeti Bhojan. Preeti Bhojan means networking. That's how it goes on. Or the big parties, project parties, they're all meant for eating food together so that we can have some bonding. So some Preetis actually develop relationships. So therefore, you'll find all of us were very closely bound with our mothers, right? Because whatever our mothers are cooking, there's not only recipe, but there's an extra affection behind making those items, right? And that's why that's actually very, very. Once a famous cricketer was asked in Sydney, "What is your favorite food?" He said, "Aloo ke parathe, which my mom makes." So out of all the things he has eaten all over the world, he still is, liking the whatever mother is cooking, because there's an extra recipe added, is love. Out of love, the mother is cooking. So therefore, it's very important. Now the modern things are, going out for eating and cooking less and less at the home. So that needs to be where we need to be very careful. Sukha Pripti Vivadana. Next 2-3 minutes and we'll stop it. So all these items, duration of life, the strength, the exist, the consciousness, purification, the health, the happiness, and the loving relationships, they are actually vivardhana. They actually increase by eating the food. And there are 4 kinds: rasya, snigdha, stira, rudya. Rasya means juicy, and snigdha means they actually fatty. And Prabhupada will clarify that's not an animal fat by killing them, but animal fat is naturally available through their milk and milk products, cow's milk especially. Sthira means they enduring, they have a long-lasting effect on the body. They're sthira. And Rudda means they're not just this, they're actually very, very pleasing while eating food also, like that. Okay, so I think so we'll stop here, or can we take next verse? Anyway, there is no purport, so we'll just read that. Food in the mode of ignorance, 17.10, 9, sorry. Food in mode of passion. Katva amla lavanati ushna tikshna ruksha vidahin ahara rajasa seshta dukkha shoka amaya prada. So what is being said here? Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, burning are dear those in the mode of passion. Such foods causes distress, misery, and disease. Katu means actually bitter. Karela, neem, etc. Bitter. Kattu. Amla, sour. Lavan means salty. Ati ushno, very hot. Lot of pepper. They need extra chili with after that also. Tikshna, pungent, pepper, etc. Ruksh, dry. Vidahina, it's burning actually. Burning. While going into the body is burning, in the body is burning, while going out also it is burning. Like that it is said. So all this is Katva, Amla, Lavanati, Ushna, Tikshna, Ruksha, Vidahina. So Ati is applicable to all of them. Too bitter, too sour, too salty, too hot, too pungent, too burning, too dry. All this is actually what? Ahara Rajasa Ishta means those in mode of passion. They like these kinds of food. Purepur, Kolhapur. When we're in Kolhapur, unless you eat and all your perspiring here and some smoke is coming out of your ears, they will not enjoy that food. Otherwise, they feel like, kya hai, what you are eating? It's stale actually. They want very, very hot, tikha. So much of tikha they eat actually. But what is the effect of such eating food? Dukkha. It will give misery, shoka. Oh, why did he eat that? He should not have eaten like that. Shoka. Amaya prada. Amaya means disease. It is the food is, is taking inside the food and, disposing the waste. There are 2 important factors for a healthy body, but actually such kind of, which is very, very too extreme, that will actually cause the diseases, give rise to all the diseases. So many of them we know that already, right? Okay. So I think so our time is up. The next is about the food in mode of ignorance that we'll study next time, and also study the purport for all the three food in goodness, passion, and also in ignorance. Srila Prabhupada will comment in the purport for 17.10. Okay. So are there any questions or comments on what we discussed so far today? Otherwise, we'll just stop here. Madhav Harinam, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, in this chapter, what I understood is following the scriptures means just worshipping Supreme Personality of Godhead. If somebody is not worshipping Supreme Personality of
Can
Godhead,
you be a little louder, please? Yeah, come closer to your microphone or instrument.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it's good.
So what I understood is uh, following the Supreme Personality of Godhead or accepting the Bhakti process from the scriptures, that is only following the scriptures. Otherwise, just worshipping the demigods or the ghosts, that means they don't follow the scriptures. Am I right, Prabhuji? Is the understanding? Because
No, actually, if you see Karma Kanda portion where there is Upasana Kanda is there, Jnana Kanda and Karma Kanda. So Karma Kanda is also worshipping of the demigods, but that is also recommended in the scriptures only. The purpose is what? The purpose is a gradual elevation. Somebody who cannot take up to Krishna consciousness directly, they are not able to. So they have been, at least if they take to Karma Kanda portion, it is their glory because they're actually abiding by the authority of the Vedas, authority of the Krishna. Although they may not be taking to Krishna consciousness or worshipping Krishna immediately, but demigods are also indirectly, they are the part and parcel of Krishna only, although it is Avidhi Purvakam. Krishna very clearly says in 9th chapter, but still that falls under the purview of Vedic culture only. Even if you want something, you want a Putra Kameshti Yajna, you want this, that, you do it as per it is mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. You are following the authority. Slowly, slowly, by following the authority of the Vedas, scriptures, you will develop faith in scriptures and you will gradually come to Krishna consciousness, a pure spiritual platform one day. That is the gradual path, which is like that. But if we just, somebody says, like we said, what is that? 2.40 to 43. Bhogasharya, what is that? Vedavadarata. They say, now what else is the purpose of the Vedas? If somebody sticks to that only, Janma Ishvara Phala Pradhan, then Yamimam Pushpidam Vacham Pravadanti Avipashita. So that was, if you see, their Vedavadarata tendency is what? Oh, this is ultimate. What is given in the Vedas? This is ultimate. There's nothing higher. Even if you read Bhagavatam 10th canto, the Brahmana, the Yagic Brahmanas and their wives were pure devotees. But the Yagic Brahmanas, when they were performing as per the Vedas only, everything as per the scriptures, but they could not understand this difference between the Karma Kanda and spiritual. For whom they were performing yajna, that personality has come to ask for food. Why not give them directly? No, they just ignored the Balakas, the friends of Krishna and Balrama, and they continued with their yajna. Later on, when they realized, oh, our wives are so fortunate, they are so advanced, it is fine upon our birth, fine upon our learnings of the Vedas, this and that. They realized it. So, in short, those who are worshipping demigods, according to Karmakanda or Vedic rules and regulations, not like what Ganesh worship is going on nowadays, they are also following scriptures, but their elevation is very slow, gradual. They may or may not come, they may get stuck there also. Just like somebody is following Karma Yoga, can advance to Jnana Yoga, can advance to Dhyana and Bhakti Yoga also. But if somebody gets stuck on that particular step of the ladder, then it's called as a Jnana Yogi, Karma Yogi, Dhyana. Otherwise, ultimate is all the Vedesha Sarver Aham Eva. That is the ultimate understanding of Vedas. Yes, Prabhu. So does that help?
yes, okay, Prabhuji. That means ghost worship and then this demigod worship, they are according to the scriptures. If they follow, then that is not this.
Yeah, it
They
is
are also
there.
good.
Some maybe tantric scriptures may be there. Like we say also, Puranas. There are 18 Puranas. Some of them are in goodness, some of them are in passion, some of them are in ignorance, right?
Yeah.
So whatever they follow, they are supposed to gradually elevate. themselves or with the help of the devotees. If they come in contact with the devotees, that's the best thing to happen to them. So they can be both. They can be worshipping demigods as per the scriptures, and one can be worshipping according to one's own these things. Even in some devotee was mentioning to me somewhere many years back, some temple in Vrindavan, Radha Krishna temple. But if there's somebody's putting a jeans pant and goggle and giving cricket bat with the hand of instead of basuri, what is that? Is it and then making some what is that? Lila? What do you call lila? You have to make auction of those jeans and goggles and this that. This is not mentioned in scriptures. So sometimes halfway, half cooked, something here, make some khichdi, like that also it is possible. Purely adhering to scripture is also possible, and purely according to our own whimsicality, that is also possible.
Here in verse number 4, purport, Prabhuji.
Huh.
In purport, second line, fourth verse. According to the scriptural injunction, only the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped. Those who are not very conversant with or faithful to the scriptural injunctions worship different objects according to their specific situation in modes of material nature. Those who are situated in goodness generally worship the demigods. The demigods include Brahma. So scriptures injunctions, if they are not faithful, and then they go to another. So
then what happens?
Then they are affected by material modes of nature. But according to the scriptural injunction, only the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipable. So I read this line in second line, purport of
I'm able to see that. So what is your question?
So I just understood that to following the scriptures is just
no. Here, what Srila Prabhupada's meaning is ultimate object of worship is Krishna only, right? Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakha, Vasudeva, everything is Vasudeva only. Ultimately, goal of life is Vasudeva only. That is the ultimate injunction of the scriptures. That's Prabhupada is giving, whosoever reads only this purport also, he will come to know that understanding. So Srila Prabhupada is giving conclusion. But demigod worship is there in the scriptures also. It is there in the scriptures also. Worshipping. Even Sukadeva Goswami in the beginning of the second canto, you read, before coming to that verse, 1.3.10 or 1.2.10, akamo sarva kamo va moksha kamo udardi. If you read that is the 10th verse. Before that, 9 verses, Sukadeva Goswami is telling, if you want to get strength, if you want to Indriya Bhog, you worship Indra. If you want to get health, you worship Surya. You want to get progeny, you worship this demigod. Long list is given in 9 verses by Sukadeva Goswami. So it is there in the scriptures. But of course, he is testing Sukadeva Parikshit Maharaj also there. But ultimately, he is giving the conclusion of bhakti and worshipping Supreme Lord. So, in short, ultimate object of worship according to scripture is Krishna only. There is no doubt about that. Is the conclusion Prabhupada is giving. But there are people who worship demigods according to scripture also, karma kanda portion, and some, now in Kali Yuga, everything is topsy-turvy. Nobody knows any scriptures, nobody follows anything. So whatever they are doing, either it is in goodness, passion, or ignorance, a Shastra vidhim utsrujya. By giving whatever the injunctions are there in the scriptures, they are doing as per their own whimsicality. That is the point. That is the point. But Karma Kanda is there. You know that Karma Kanda is also the part of the Vedas. Yes, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and then Upasana.
So those who are following Karma Kanda, they are not Shastra Vidhim Utsrujya. They are following Shastra.
If they are following whatever the way the worship is being prescribed there, if you are following that, then it is okay. But if they are mixing something from here, something from there, and making some khichdi, then again it is different thing. It may not be purely scripture like that.
That's why it happened that super soul is tortured. No, that's why.
Yeah.
If they follow Karma Kanda strictly, then super soul is not tortured.
Now tell me, in this Kali Yuga, who are the people who are following scriptures even for Karma Kanda? You want a baby or you want to give birth, you are not getting a child. You go to doctor and you do testy baby, this, that, whatever they are doing there for. Where they are performing any Putra Kamishti Yajna or this and that. Neither the Panditas are there, Brahmanas are there, not the Samagri is there, nothing is there. So everything is difficult only. So even for their material well-being, people are not following Vedas. People are not following Vedic authority. They are following their boss in the office. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado. If the boss is pleased in the office, I will get my money and I'll be happy in my life. That's what they understand. So they're not following any even karma kanda sections or even Vedas, Vedic authorities like that. Yes.
Okay, bro.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. So Granthra Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ji ki jai, Upasit Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Nitya Gaur Premanandi. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.